What's going on, everyone? My name's Eric, and today on the channel we are going to be going down memory lane and we're going to be revisiting my very first guitar. Let's get into it. So now, as most beginner guitars would be, they're nothing really to lose sleep over, but the thing is that, if you're in a position like I am, where I've been playing music for tons of years, and, I've been able to do a lot of really cool things with music, playing a lot of bands, record some albums and stuff like that, and obviously do this whole YouTube thing, the social media thing, right? It's pretty wild being able to hold your first guitar and kind of reflect on life and just kind of see where it's all gone. And yeah, not to really think too much of the past of like, oh, I wonder what life would have been if I didn't play the guitar and everything like that, but it's just kind of neat to see kind of where it all started. This came into my life in around 2005, and it was a Christmas gift because, more or less, to make a long story short, I was kind of out of most of my hobbies. I was a sports kid for most of my life growing up, and then I just decided I didn't really want to do those things anymore, and concerned parents at the time were probably like,
haven't even finished breakfast and that boy ain't right.
One thing led to another, and my parents more or less decided on saying, well, let's get him a guitar and let's just kind of see what happens. So then after opening this up on Christmas and then just kind of looking at it being like, oh, this is kind of cool, maybe I'll check it out. And at this point in time, I was really listening to music more so on my own rather than just like passively listening to whatever was on the radio at the time. And yeah, it was kind of like serendipitous where those two things kind of happened at the same time, because a couple months later after I got that guitar, I really started to get into guitar lessons. And even my best friend, just living down the street from me, got a bass guitar, and, we ended up starting our own band together, and, the rest is history from there on. It's just cool to see that this is where it started. And yeah, maybe life would have been different if, maybe if I didn't stick with the guitar or anything. So as I said earlier, beginner guitars are just kind of there to get you going, and they're coming in at like a really good price point, and they're nothing to lose sleep over. And case in point here, this is a Silvertone SS11. Don't know. And all I know is that this guitar came from Walmart. So it was always dubbed in my friend group as that this is the Walmart guitar. And not knowing that Silvertone is actually a bit of a legacy brand, and that was actually like a department store brand from the 60s and all things like that. But like when I was young, uneducated about the brand, and just understanding where it came from. And yes, it is a cheap guitar, but it's not horrible for what it is, to be honest, especially for an $100 guitar. This guitar is obviously a Strat copy, like most beginner guitars, either a Strat, Les Paul, or a Tele copy for the most part back then. And now even going over the specs, like there's nothing to lose sleep over on this guitar. I have no idea what the body is made of. I did a little bit of research before filming and couldn't tell you. It could be made of plywood for all I know. It doesn't even matter. Believe it or not, the neck is actually made of maple. Like looks like a pretty okay cut of maple. We got a rosewood fingerboard, traditional 25.5-inch scale length, nickel frets, 21 frets. They do need some cleaning and some polishing, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. The pickups are not stock. I changed these years ago. This guitar came with like some no-name pickups, and I thought by putting some Fender Squier single coil pickups in, I was going to improve the tone of the guitar. I was totally wrong, because these pickups are even noisier than the original pickups that came with the guitar. But I don't know, I thought I was doing the right thing by modding it and maybe putting a bit of money into this guitar. The toggle switch that I just flicked off doesn't stay on there anymore. This is a cool thing right here. This cool little thing down here, this is a Gilmore mod that I added on years ago. So if memory serves me right, I believe it kicks on the neck pickup as well. I'm gonna do a little bit more homework on that, and I'm gonna demo it so you can all hear it. But apparently that is something that David Gilmour did back in the day, and I honestly think that was probably the better mod outside of changing the pickups, but whatever, we move on. We got the bridge, old school 6-point Fender style bridge. And the big old bolt on the back here. The trem cavity is open. The back plate is gone with time. And that is more or less it. Again, it's a beginner guitar. There's nothing really to lose sleep over, and in terms of specs and features and things like that. And again, the whole point of this video, and even looking back for yourselves on your own beginner guitars, is just reflecting on that musical journey of like where it started, where it is now, and yeah, just to kind of remind yourself of why you do it, because obviously at the end of the day, this is a pretty sweet thing that we all do. So let's plug this thing in and let's just hear how this guitar sounds all these years later. And that's going to do it for today's video, revisiting my very first guitar. Let me know in the comments below of what your very first guitar was, and bonus points if you still have that guitar. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, please consider subscribing. I have tons more videos that are all guitar related in some way, shape, and form. And if you really like what I do, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video that I upload. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you next time.